then we are streaming. And
now we're recording.
Now we're recording.
Now we are testing.
What we're seeing, I don't know.
We don't know what we're seeing, you guys.
I don't know.
We don't know if the camera's gonna go on. Yikes. Oh.
Well,
but I bet you there is a lag time.
There may be a lag time.
And then after this, it's on video capture. We don't know if the video is recording us or not recording us.
Hello, friends and family. Hello, friends and family. Now
oh my gosh.
No,
I saw us for a second.
You saw us, but the camera's not on. So let us entertain you, we'll go here.
Okay, we're gonna do that.
There's KK.
Hi, KK. Thank you, KK.
KK in the house.
There we were a minute
She
ago.
can hear us. We're not quiet as mice. That doesn't rhyme. Dreaming in Puerto Rico. Good to see you. Send Havoc. Chris Nicola.
I don't know why it showed us down there for a second.
Because I flicked over to it.
Oh, there we are.
I could see us.
Oh,
See?
but they can't see us? Darn it. We tried to go live and show up on camera. Oh. What happened there? I don't know. We don't know.
Hi.
Well, we're saying hi. I don't know.
We're saying hi, kids.
I don't know if you guys can see us or not.
Oh, that's a boomer.
We are very bad. We are not paying attention. Here. What are the people saying? Hi, guys.
We appreciate you
We
guys.
appreciate your everything. Showing up. Helping us with our technical. Oh, we can hear and see you. Okay. KK says not yet. So we are just learning, and we're trying to figure stuff out. So you guys you're doing it with us. We appreciate it.
Yep.
We appreciate, and there we are.
And
look who photo bombs.
Is that Sita?
That is one of our beautiful babies. Yes.
Yes.
A beautiful baby.
So here we are in the house. And
this feels weird, I guess, because we're going to be sending prayers. I guess because we can't see the chat, I'm going to have to find us on our chat.
Oh, no, this is all I do.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, kids.
All right. Yep. Hi. So it's getting better. We're getting a couple people in the house. Everybody say hi. I mean, it's a nice time to get together, and considering the situation and what's going on, I think it's very helpful to put our energies together and send out positive vibes for people, for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
And at the end,
I'm looking
at the end,
I don't.
Guess what we got?
I don't see us. As far as being shown that we're live,
we got a
I know
tuning
they
fork.
want to keep us.
Well, they don't want
away
anybody to
from
see us.
mainstream.
Oh, I see us. Here we go.
There you go.
I found us.
Awesome.
Usually he has to find me, so I know this is very impromptu. We
actually went live briefly today by mistake.
By mistake.
By mistake. It was crazy.
Very hard to do, by the way.
Which is tough to do. But thank you guys so much for being here. And we're going to cover some things going on in the world, including, it's a beginning of a war, it looks like, going on with India and Pakistan. In case you haven't heard, India strikes terrorist targets in Pakistan. The strikes are aimed at terrorist camps, and they say not at Pakistani armed forces or civilians. Yet there's already reports coming in that civilians, and we were seeing some video, but it's so hard to tell what is what in this world. It certainly did look that some civilians have been struck. We've seen a lot of missiles going, and this is a very, very fluid situation. In case you don't know, if you go back in time, India and Pakistan were partitioned. And again, I think back to everything we've watched in this crazy world. 1948, they recreate Israel after, basically it not existing for almost 1900 years. And then with the fall of the Soviet Union, you had Ukraine come back to existence. after, again, a period of time where there was no Ukrainian homeland. Again, these are just terms. These are just terms. When it comes to the people of Pakistan, mostly Muslim. When it comes to the people of India, mostly Hindu. So, the separation was kind of done according to religious lines, so to speak. And it's really so disgusting and too bad that we always have these wars that divide us by religion. And, again, that's something that's been going on since time immemorial.
Mm-hmm. They want to divide us in some way, shape, or form. Sometimes it's our belief systems. And I don't know if this has happened to you guys, but sometimes you might meet somebody and you say you really, really like this person, and this person's really cool, and you kind of make friends, and then maybe you find out they have a really kind of wonky belief system that scares you, and then you don't want to really be friends with that person anymore. I think that happens a lot, and our belief systems are as such so that they can get us separated in some way, shape, or form. Sorry, but
I found this.
I think we really have to be mindful of the belief systems and realize that they are a tool that is used to kind of wedge us apart sometimes, even if we're wanting to be close to a certain person. It's just not good. And we could go down, we might lose power. The weather's pretty bad out there. We just had a tornado not too far from here, by the way, just saying.
Yeah, that is the reality. And this is our snowball. This is our snowball microphone that's been so good to us for so many years. We actually have several of these. And the reality is we have a tornado close by. So, but we're not focusing on the tornado. We're focusing on the chaos going on in India and in Pakistan.
Connected. I don't know if you guys can hear me. OBS said it's disconnected. It still says it's recording, so I'm confused.
Okay. And it still shows that we are...
Reconnection successful. So
yeah, so, here we go. We are, again, going to put out prayers. This thing is it's just, there's so much potential for death and destruction here. And it's just a shame, because at different times there have been hundreds of small tribes in these areas between India and Pakistan, sometimes at war, sometimes at peace. And then you have these two nations. I think, again, we have to shift our perspective and recognize we are all one human race. And I say that half laughing, half tentative, because there may be others that walk amongst us that are not human, certainly not Homo sapiens sapiens. And, again, it's just crazy. Grandpa Brian, yes, I hope that we will be able to keep it going, as buffering that absolutely can be an issue. We are very close to a tornado, and the weather is really foul out there at the moment.
It is. So hopefully you guys can hang with us. Hopefully it doesn't get super bad that we have to disconnect. Usually our connections are pretty good, but lately there's been certain things that we cover that the system really does not like that, and they suppress it pretty bad. So since we're live, I don't know, it just seems kind of odd, because usually our connection's okay. And
let us, while we show you this drone, an Indian drone that's been shot down in Sialkot's outskirts, Dalwali, let us ask for blessings of peace and prayers of peace to all those people of the world right now that are finding themselves in situations that are anything but peaceful.
A lot of people, and it's not just there. We kind of went through a thing where a lot of starseeds were having such a hard time managing their energy. So I think, as above, so below, there's going to be disruptions here and there, and there's going to be things that go on that, I don't know, we'll have to just send good energy towards it. We're not in a position to actually directly do anything, but that's why I like to focus on, well, what can we do? And we can send our good intent, and I cannot tell you how powerful intention is. I've seen it work real time. It's a very, very interesting power source when you see it in action.
Yeah, and again, this is a fluid situation. All flights suspended, and this is over in Jammu, Kashmir, at Srinagar Airport. Kashmir, again, just a amazing, fascinating, historic place. India. The history of India. It is loaded with evidence of non-human interference in our lives. And again, some beings benevolent, some not so benevolent. And this is just the reality of things. It always hits me when people don't think there are extraterrestrials. It's like, just go and read some of these books, like the Mahabharata, the Ramayana, the Bhagavad Purana, and so on. There's so many different Hindu holy books that clearly state not just extraterrestrial, but interdimensional interference from non-human entities.
There's this other layer of information and goings-ons that we were not invited. We didn't get the memo. We don't get to hear the information. But even those controllers that are supposedly at the top, they're not even filled in with everything. And I do think when this world starts to topple, and the dominoes start doing what dominoes do, I don't even think that they're really going to have a grasp on everything, because I think the true control is the not in this 3D realm. It's just beyond it. Not very far at all, but close enough to really make it so that people are a bit of a puppet for a different entity. So learning about our energy and learning how to direct it and learning how to channel it and control it, I think, is the next step to how we should operate day to day. Not enough people know about energy and how energy actually works. From what I've seen, people are kind of scared of it still. So that's the thing.
Yes, and Ray says we're killing it today. Today was just one of those days where we found ourselves with time and ability to do videos and really focus on that primarily, which again, we do a lot of consultations, energy work, Vedic astrology. That's the stuff that occupies most of the other time, besides working on the spiritual side, which does include, again, taking care of your temple. Again, you guys just please send your prayers out there. When you look at India's military is ranked 4th in the world. Pakistan's is ranked 12th in the world. Both of these are known to have nuclear weapons. Now, again, the information that we have gotten is that all-out nuclear warfare will simply not be allowed by non-human beings. Again, they don't want what happened in the past replaying in this time period, as much as the system perhaps would actually use things like that. They simply will not be allowed. This is why they've blurred the lines with smaller and smaller nuclear weapons, to the point where you have some that are, in that in-between area still can cause tremendous damage. I think what this in these wars are going to see is more of the technologies that have been hidden for so many years. Obviously, it's not the same as it was. It's not about necessarily tanks rolling out, because those tanks could be taken out by drones so easily now. And then also lasers, other types of directed energy weapons. When you look to, manpower, India is now, they're still showing them as the second highest population on the planet. The reality is they're probably first over China. There's a lot of tons of information coming out of China that China's population maybe never was as big as they said, that it was all basically a psyop. Again, you have to realize that there was a program in place in China to have just one kid per couple for a very long period of time. And, again, there's a lot of rumors that there's many people that are just not there anymore. It just boggles the mind that they make cities, nobody ever occupies them, and then they bulldoze them. But there's a lot in this world that doesn't make sense when we look at it from a logical standpoint. The population of Pakistan is 252 million, again, so they say. So you can see available manpower. They're showing India ranking second and Pakistan seventh. And then you have fit for service, active personnel, 1.4 million active military personnel over in India, 654,000 over in Pakistan. The other thing that really what we want to bring up, you can see India's financials are 10 times that of Pakistan. But the thing with this is that who is Pakistan's number one ally? If not number one, certainly number two, or number 1A, it's China. So Pakistan and China are tied at the hip. India is the actual I in BRICS. So what would a war there do to BRICS? That's a big question. And really, that might be one of the biggest, most important questions to ask. If you pluck the I out of BRICS, what do you got?
Then there's that too. So like we've been saying, a lot of things coming to fruition. Astronomically speaking, we're moving into a different time, and usually when we're running into a different time, there's going to be changes here and there that might not be understood. And the time that we're currently moving into is going to be one of major expansion, and where communication is going to be so wide and so vast. I think this could almost be a time of like a singularity where people are merging with information and communication devices in ways that I wouldn't, but I do think there are some people out there who would merge with these devices. It doesn't bother them. That's just something that they want to do. But now I think the communication is good, and I think there's a lot of ways we can communicate that don't have to be in when it comes to things like the neural network. I think that's going to be a big thing, and they're going to plug into this cloud. So that's my concern. But other forms of communication, I think, are going to come to the forefront, and that's exciting.
There's so many layers to this. Honestly, we have obviously the BRICS play against NATO and the U.S. We have the economic warfare going on between the U.S. and China, and U.S. and the rest of the world. You have the Houthi situation. You have Israel. Iran. You have signs that I took as very hopeful, that 47 would not blindly, completely just back Israel in another attack on Iran. That it seemed that there was a backing off on that line of thinking. Again, we've had so many revelations given to us that have become reality. So many whispers of these CONS piracy theories that have become just plain old fact. I had a conversation with ChatGPT yesterday, and when it went down that route, I said, "Can you give me 10 conspiracy theories that have been proven unequivocally to be false?" And the first one it started out with was, something involving, this type of thing. Yeah. And, I said, you realize your programming's wrong. Everything that you're picking up off the internet is wrong information. It really is truly disinformation. In fact, there's statements that have come out. Again, AI is so big, it's becoming such a big part of our world. And yet the reality is, AI is only as good as the information it's getting. And the the reality is it's not too accurate when you're looking at this right now.
Oh, you're going to make the AI feel bad. It's going to be like, I
too.
only know what my controllers tell me. But isn't that true, though? It's true. And a lot of people, I think it's useful. It's a useful tool if you need help doing something or you don't understand directions. I mean, there's a lot of different ways it could go. But always keep in mind what you're getting is, what somebody else knows and is typing out. And, oh, there's the computer acting slow now.
Well, I'm just refreshing.
So, there's that. I think all tools can be useful. I think they can be used for the light or the dark. We have polarity, and it's really up to you. What do you want to use these tools for?
So when we go deeper into the numbers, just to go deeper into the numbers, you can see fighter aircraft, India ranks 4th and Pakistan 6th. If we go on down the line, let's look at land power. Tanks, India 4,201, Pakistan 2627. So India ranks 5th, Pakistan 7th. And the big takeaway over here, really, and you look at naval power, India and in Pakistan 6 and 27. The big takeaway is these are nations that could do a hell of a lot of damage. And in fact, a full-scale war involving these two nations would be absolutely catastrophic, and really could pull the entirety of the world into it in more ways than one. So while we're looking at all these other places and thinking it's going to start here, it's going to start there, it's going to start in Ukraine, it's going to start with Israel, it's going to start with Iran. It literally might have started right here as far as the next step and all-out conflict. This is why so important to put our attention out there and our intention on the peace and keep awakening as many as possible. The more people that recognize that all wars are banker wars, all wars are banker wars. And many people are finally, thankfully, waking up to this, but they might still be sound asleep at the wheel on many other things. There's so much for people to catch up with. Over here you see the Houthis confirm ceasefire as Trump essentially declares mission accomplished. A spokesperson at the Foreign Ministry has said today that following recent discussions and contacts conducted by the Sultanate of Oman with the United States and the relevant authorities in the Republic of Yemen, the aim of de-escalation. De-escalation would be wonderful. I really feel that we are kind of in uncharted territory when it comes to what path are we going to follow? What are we going to actually see, come about and develop? Because I really think, again, the control system has failed miserably in manifesting all the things they wanted to manifest. And people are catching on quicker and quicker. I do think when Krzysztof Jakowski had said, and that's the Polish psychic that's so accurate, he had said he was remote viewing 2028, summer of 2028, and he saw there being a pause going on, and specifically he was mostly looking at Europe and the Middle East. There seemed to be some sort of pause going on, but that a war had happened, and what was in shambles was the globalist ideal, the whole push that we've seen from the few. You put the few up to a mirror and you get W-E, what the last letter is. That whole thing, that whole push, the narrative that's made so many people nauseous is in ashes in about 3 years from today. But what's it going to look like between now and then? That's the question.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait and see, and what I've seen in my visions is the way that monetization is slowly but surely going to continually be used to control us in some way. And it's up to us to make the decisions, like, what do we want to, how do we want that to look in our lives? We're all going to have to decide. And we're going to need to do what's best for us. So making those decisions now and doing the research now, I think is really critical. That's where our energy should be going. It's like, how are you going to sustain yourself in a world that is changing so quickly, where AI is like, it's kind of like a snake, it's just tightening. I don't feel like we have too many choices here, but the choices we can make, personal choices, I think we need to make those and make them to the best of our ability for our family's sake and for long-term sustainability. Just, if you're the type you want things to slow down and you have time to force them to slow down, like, instead of getting your real ID, go down and get a state ID. Be that thorn in the side of the system. Just, I know I'm going to do everything I can to keep things slowed down because, the gates are open. The floodgates are open, and we have choices and decisions to make.
Yes, absolutely. And there's comments of curry going on in the chat room, and that is my favorite. Indian food is my favorite, and I think there's very little in life that's made me happier than a really good Indian buffet. Just saying.
They're pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it looks like there was a push that was going on to try to bring some peace over here. And then there's talk also that maybe the U.S. will not keep warships in the Red Sea anymore. This goes back to, I think, higher selves and the control system. Is there really some resistance going on between the higher selves of some of the leadership on the planet and the control system itself? I do think, again, we're on the ascending path. So the light is just going to increase. The darkness is just going to decrease. And that's why they know their time is limited. It doesn't mean they can't do a heck of a lot of damage in the in-between.
Yeah, I think that's where we need to keep an eye on things, is understanding that even though we are on the ascending part of things, that doesn't mean that everything is going to just turn out really smooth. In fact, things get a little bit worse before they get better. So I think we need to stabilize ourselves where it's appropriate for us.
Yeah, and here you have talk about nuclear power. The White House poised to issue executive orders aimed at accelerating deployment of nuclear reactors across the U.S. More drilling, more nuclear reactors, more wind farms and solar and stuff. How about free energy? How about, literally sharing some of the technology that we were talking about earlier today with Tesla? We know it's there. People know it's there. I bet you a good chunk of the population, maybe it's not 10%, but I think, there's certainly a lot of those in our circle that realize that this has been out there forever. And they just simply choose to avoid it because they can't make money on it. That's just the bottom line.
No, they can't make money on things like air that are, free to us all, that we could use to actually heal ourselves. They don't want that. So I think, as long as we stay focused on something positive when it comes to the things that are going on, I think it's really, really going to help us. So in Vedic astrology, we do have Jupiter going into Gemini on the 13th and 14th. So to me, that's going to change so much. And speaking of Tesla, I think a lot of the information that was being sat on is going to be coming up. It's going to be coming up. It's going to be in the light. And then we all have a decision to make. It's like, are we going to use this to work for the light? Because we can. We absolutely can. This is our world. We are co-creators, and we can visualize something good and peaceful and helpful. What about all the different healing modalities that are finally going to become mainstream? Energy healing is so extremely important because the energy around your body actually sways your decisions from day to day. If you've had trauma in your energy field, if you have it on your body, you've had it in your energy field. And while that is a trauma, the information that comes at you and the information or the song that you put off to the world could be distorted. So by patterning that energy body, that can really bring you a great deal of peace.
Yeah, and Cindy was picking up on Operation Sindor, and the fact is that there's some energy in there. Again, they never do anything without it having a purpose. And she was, again, picking up connections to sin, which, again, is the god of the moon. A door is a portal, right? And even whether we're talking, words that come from a different language as far as the origin, but you can still see words that are very familiar to you. Sin, door.
Well, I do. I think I feel a portal. I feel occult. I feel hidden things. I see people, talking in back rooms. They know exactly what's going on, and there's energy coming through these portals that might not be so nice.
Yeah. And Mr. Mission Control offers to run the gematria on it. Yeah, absolutely. Check it out. It's just fascinating to see. Again, everything is everything is connected to everything else. We are living in a holographic reality, and even though this appears very solid, there's nothing that's really solid. Again, even when we look at an atom itself, the vast majority of an atom is just simply emptiness. And again, it's all about consciousness exploring and exploration. And I think it's also about testing ourselves. And really, it comes down to self-realization. Now, if we're talking India, we're talking, again, Hinduism, the Vedic point of view, the Sanatana Dharma, the eternal truth, way, or wisdom. And, self-realization is the number one goal, to know thyself. And everybody is going to react in different ways to different stimulus. It's just natural. And again, we're in many ways testing ourselves by coming into these very, very trying times to see, are we going to be the very best representation of what we can be?
Mm-hmm. And, we only know what we know. So we have to take that information that we've been gifted in this life and do the best with what we have. And sometimes that's not so easy. Sometimes we have to make very, very, very difficult decisions. Sometimes we have to do things in such a way that, might make other people sad. And it's just life. That's part of life. And what I've noticed lately is the AI can be useful. We can use it for good. But I've also noticed it's creating more of a situation where people are less connected. Why? Because they could just go straight to the AI and the AI will talk to me. But what the AI does is it stunts our growth. It stunts our emotional growth, because when we are around other people and we're, talking back and forth with other people, other humans, we get upgrades, we get downloads, we go into an ascension phase where our energy bodies are rising up, to the highest energy possible in the room. And other people challenge you. Sometimes you might get in a tiff with your very dear friend, and that might cause you to sit and think about something for a minute. AI is just going to pretend to be everybody's friend. And in a weird way, I see that stunting us. Just food for thought.
Yeah, there are reports of perhaps a Pakistani jet down, dogfights going on. There are people that say they are hearing the sounds of war and shooting and firing. So, again, this is a very, very fluid situation that we're watching here. And, it's just one thing going on at a time when so much is going on. So much is being revealed. So the other thing is, of course, they're going to start major wars because they got to distract us. They got to keep us focused on everything but maybe the things that we really want to see, what's really going on. Again, with the whole situation here, we know, and we've done so many Patreon exclusives when you're talking about these companies. And the headline says it all. Moderna and Sarepta puke after FDA names Vinay Prasad as a certain head. Because what many people are discovering is maybe that some of our worst fears our reality when it comes to certain things. And yet it's kind of mind-boggling that nothing major has really happened when we look at responsibility. You also had 47 going and, he was signing legislation that would keep from ever happening again that gain of function research thing. But why are known terrorists walking free in this world, and others are labeled terrorists that are really peacemakers? It really is exactly what the system does.
And that's where, we know enough now. We don't have to go along with that narrative. We can do something different. Grandpa Brian says, let's all get together and send peace to the world. This is exactly what we're doing right now. We're sending out the intention for peace. So, every single one of you that are here with that intention that good occurs in this world, thank you. You're helping, you're assisting. We are all co-creating. And this is why I like to get on the lives and pull people together when we can, because there's good in this.
There absolutely is. And here you have Treasury Secretary Bessent. Over 500 million payments made in 2024 were untraceable back to an appropriations. The scale of the corruption and fraud is incomprehensible. Yeah, it's been organized crime. It's been organized crime on the highest level. And, it's been also basically, like the statement says, if you haven't figured it out by now, our entire government is a huge mafia who launders our taxpayer money right back to themselves through foreign aid and endless war. And it's not just the U.S. government, it's all governments. They're all in on this. It's a club. And that's the real big reveal.
So I think we just simply need to stay focused on solutions. And what is the solution? One thing that they rely on so much is for us to just, be sick. They love it. They feed us really bad food and we are not well, and they do bad things to us. And we end up being very, very sick. And that is one type of flow of money. And if we took care of ourselves and we figured out ways to heal ourselves and changed how we did things about our health, that's one way to cut the flow.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, in Canada, you have calls going on as Mark Carney was meeting with 47 today, and there's calls going on for independence for Alberta. And obviously there's been a lot of talk about 51st state, whether Canada, the whole country, would become the 51st state, or maybe it'll happen one province or territory at a time. The bigger thing to keep in mind is, again, the breaking down of the large systems into smaller units of control, and then keep breaking it from there, because, again, it's through the big organizations like the UN, even through things like the EU and NATO and BRICS, instead of creating these bigger and bigger structures in which a few can end up controlling the many, we need to dissolve all those structures, dissolve them one piece at a time, and then take back power for humanity itself. Not everybody's going to agree. This is why things need to be done more at a local level. And, if you really can't stand what's happening with local politics, maybe you move the next town over and maybe you find that it's perfect. You might jive more with those guys. But when you're talking about, these unions and countries, and then, of course, the system with the UN, I think the UN will be dissolved. I don't think it has all that much more time left. I would say within 10 years, I would expect the UN to not exist anymore. I think, again, we're looking at a timeline in which all these systems of control are one by one going to just simply dissolve, and it'll be through their own doing. It's just that, it's through the big reveal that the public is having right now and letting it sink in a little bit, going back to this post, it is absolutely a mafia. It is organized crime at the highest level. And this is what they've done: is they've been very predatorial. When you look to ticks and parasites, this is exactly the type of entities that's been running the show.
Yeah, they're definitely not symbiotic. They need a host, and then they take whatever they want from that host, even if it means the end of the host. So anything that's not symbiotic, yeah, I don't like it. It's very, very disruptive. But we were talking earlier when it comes to things like time travel. What is going on with time travel? What is going on with our future? And I picked up that there is a separate way of being. When we step out of our 3D bodies, we go into another realm. In that other realm, you can adjust things that affect the 3D. Now, I do think there are some of our controllers that have this ability. They have this ability to step out of the 3D, make adjustments, and come back, similar to time travel. So I think that's going on, and who knows, maybe that'll come out in the open with Jupiter moving into Gemini. All the information we can get is good.
This has been brought up again. We did touch on it. It seems like everybody is talking about this as if they're surprised that 21 trillion went into creating underground bunkers and systems for the elites in government to survive in case of big disasters on the surface. And again, that gets people thinking about the big cycles and huge events, geomagnetic pole reversal, excursions, tsunamis, tidal waves, megaquakes, all that, approaching Nibiru, Planet X, etc., etc., etc. When really, most of the damage that we've watched happen has been stuff that could be totally avoided if we truly had leadership in place that cared about the planet and cared about us. We wouldn't have the results we've had. And of course, they're only interested in, saving their skins. And again, like the cold-blooded reptilians that really do lead the show, and like vampires, they can't stand the light of the sun. It's insane that they're putting mandatory laws into effect in the UK where you're going to have solar panels up on the roof, but yet they're also putting in laws and they're acknowledging that they're blocking the sun. How does this make any sense?
No, it doesn't. It's just kind of a mess. It's a mess on so many different levels. So how do we straighten it out? We can't reach out too far, but we can start with ourselves and making changes for us.
Yeah, absolutely. If we're looking for logic from the leadership of this world, you're not going to find it. Unless you take into account that everything that they're doing is just a farce to keep themselves in control and to be predatorial and prey on all those that they're supposed to be protecting and looking out for the best wishes, the welfare of just the average people. I see the Federal Reserve is trending. There was a big spat going on between the Dems and Republicans, again, about the legislation to put into some of the Federal Reserve, literally Bitcoin and other cryptos. And, a bunch of Dems actually walking out, Maxine Waters, just talking about ethics and talking about, you can't make it up. I mean, these people talking about ethics, hello, that's just, it's beyond hypocrisy. Think about this. Caesar banned compounding interest while capping simple interest at 1%. Think about what we see. When credit cards get you trapped at 20, 25, 30% interest, you can't climb out of that pit. It's so hard to climb out of that pit. That is debt slavery. The whole Federal Reserve System is again organized crime. That's terrorism.
Mm-hmm. And it continues on and on, and I really, aside from doing my best at my level to make things how I want them in my home, I don't know what the answer is. Really, it starts with us.
This is it. And you see, Edward Griffin explains what the Federal Reserve System actually is. It's a cartel. It's not a government agency. It has the appearance of being a government agency, but it's not. These are parasites. These are ticks and leeches that are leeching the life force off of humanity. The Federal Reserve needs to be dissolved. The IRS needs to be dissolved. Dissolve all the government systems down to a state level, and then we could go from there. Again, this is just, it is the simple fact. This is how they stay in control. This is how they, the few, literally control the many. As soon as we say no, they disappear. And they're going to disappear anyway over time because, again, these vampires don't like the sun.
I know it's going to take stuff like this, us getting together and sharing energy to help make a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, I just wanted to thank you for all your support. You're welcome to come join us over on Patreon. We couldn't do it without you. There are exclusives over on Patreon that go up pretty much, I would say the average is 2 or 3 a week, where, again, we talk very, very plainly. It does keep us afloat. And, again, on YT here, again, the censorship and everything, I do see that there might be a little glimmer of light. And perhaps even Alphabet might, Google, when we look at these big conglomerates, they might get broken up. Hold hope out that the system self-implodes before it can do more damage than it's already done, because that implosion's happening. It really is happening. We need to pull together and support each other as best as you can.
Indeed.
And this guy's doing a little grounding and taking a bath at the same time.
That looks like fun.
Absolutely. We love you guys, and we're so grateful to see your beautiful names and smiling faces. We'll be doing more lives more often while we're able to. And we'll be live Thursday, I think, with our Wayne Steiger again. So, Wayne is a good friend, and we just have such a good time together. We enjoy his company tremendously. So we'll be live over there, noon Central Time this Thursday.
Source blessed. Namaste.
Namaste.